about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
All right, good evening, everyone. Wednesday, November the 16th, 7 p.m., Heritage Commission is meeting. My name is Jay Myers. I'm the chair of the committee. We have a quorum this evening, and I'll ask those in attendance to introduce themselves. To my right.
It's Pam Jedham.
John Gruder, Planning Board Rep to the committee.
Julie Gilman, Select Board Representative.
And Pam, you represent the Historic District?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
clarifying that, or adding that piece of business. So yeah, thank you all for attending this evening. Looking at the agenda, it's just a bulleted list of items that have been on our radar screen. We did not meet last month, and I apologize to you all for getting the agenda in late and not meeting my obligation.
You're not the only one that's done that lately.
But
Happens.
yeah, it happens. Thank you for that. So, where do you all want to start? Julie, thank you for all of the printed documents here, and the background requirements here for. I just saw it now. I got buried. The assessment grant program for.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you want to start here?
No, that's under the town hall thing, is that?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that there. The master plan mission statement, I don't recall if you were talking about the new master plan or the newest version of it, or what's in the zoning ordinance.
Yeah, Bill Campbell had prepared some work from after our August meeting, and I had that there for him to share that work, and I honestly don't recall what our direction was with that.
I wrote it down because I knew I'd never remember it. We are supposed to, quote, manage, recognize, and protect historical and cultural resources of the town.
Hey,
I'm going to go around the other way, I think.
and that statement is coming from
No, I
the
could, you down at the end there.
master plan, and remind me the date of that. That was
Now that I did not write down. But
New one?
the new master plan. I have. Well, actually, I
the
should
one
pull
that
that up.
that she has in her
there's
hand
a-
right now.
Yeah.
2018?
Yep.
Okay, so that's from adopted February 22nd, 2018.
Yep.
All right.
So this is just our portion of what you want, or is that in there?
I think that was in question, that there wasn't a mission statement.
For you,
Well,
for this commission?
The mission statement is in the zoning ordinance in chapter 5, I believe. It's what our purpose is.
Yeah.
If I can get this to go off.
The zoning ordinance I did not bring tonight.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't.
I think I keep giving away my copies to people that don't have it.
While we're looking, I just want to let Maura introduce herself. You'll need the mic there.
Good evening, Maura Fay, member, treasurer, officially.
Yes, thank you.
All right. The thing to look at in this 2018 version is what's been described as us as the lead. If you look at the pages around 40, the steward in action plans,
And what page is that?
46, 47, 48.
Okay, yep.
Conservation. We only show up in a couple of these things.
Yeah, this is, I'm dusting off my
Yeah,
copy here. I've got it.
Yeah, page
earmarked.
46 is that we should be doing the inventory of the buildings, et cetera, which we do on a periodic basis based on grant funding.
And that's item 4A in the steward action
Yeah.
table.
Now, 4B, which is estimating costs to develop a 10-year plan, of historic resources improvement projects, identify potential fund sources and partners to augment town resources. Fine. It would be nice to have some town support to help us with the identifying potential funding sources. And then the update of the Waterfront Commercial Historic District, I think, our National Register survey, I think when we were talking about what we were going to do with our, the next round of CLG grants, that's what we wanted to do because it's including in the zoning ordinance includes properties that no longer exist or have been changed a lot. But in doing so, or going through the process, and I talked to a couple of different preservation planners, and they said, don't touch it. Leave what's on the National Register, because if enough has changed since then, and that was in the 80s, I believe.
I have some note here in my booklet dated 1979, so maybe that was dated then. Okay.
If enough has changed, then we might fall off the National Register. So in order to preserve our status, we should preserve our status and try to keep the waterfront commercial, which really is only the waterfront side. It's not the same as the historic district designation. So that one I would just cross off. It says midterm, I say done.
So item 4C, done. No need to do anything further with that.
Right.
Sort of going back then to 4B, estimating costs and developing a 10-year plan. I mean, 10-year would be, if this is dated 2018, we need to be prepared for 2028.
Or whenever we start. We need a 10-year.
Yeah, so we have some buffer time.
Yeah, I think that we should bring in the town planner. It says who's the lead, and it keeps saying to be determined. I don't know who to bring in to talk to us about what would be the process of going forward with that and making the 10-year plan. It's going to require funds, and do we do it as a warrant article, or do we find a grant for it, or what goes forward? So we need. I can talk to the town planner about how we're going to get around to this one.
Okay.
It is a midterm level project, so there's no immediate rush to get in there.
Okay.
And then let's see what else. That's really all they put us down for.
So I think this was in the last minutes in August, but item 3 here on page 46, commit resources for a new staff person to support Historic District Commission, Heritage Commission, move historic preservation actions forward. That was a short-term goal. What do we need to do to meet that?
We need to advocate for it at budget time.
Okay.
It would mean at this point probably creating a new position. So we'd have to have a job description, and it wouldn't be, in my mind, and I'm just throwing it out there as how I've been thinking about it, is not just supporting us, full-time as a staff member, but could also be a grants manager, because we really would benefit from grants that work through the town office, not just us. The police and fire and DPW are great at finding grants for their services, but there are things, and the town planner also has been really great.
Yeah, David's good at it.
But then there's the whole managing of it, which can go along through a year and just starts to add on to the workload of any of these people. Mm-hmm. So that's been the idea that I've thrown out to the select board a few times, the town manager, to get someone that can be our grants manager plus support the HDC and the Heritage Commission as far as, we want to do some activities, but we need some help organizing and costing and, that kind of thing.
And how did they receive that?
Here we are. It's only been 15 years.
It's probably, at this point, it's too late for the next fiscal year, right?
Yeah, it'll be 2023, that's for sure. But we can start the conversation now.
Sure.
Are there model job descriptions that we could borrow from, so we're not
That is a good idea.
reinventing a job description? Does anything currently exist that's closely related to that, or some verbiage that we could borrow for our benefit?
We can look that up. That's easy enough to look at. The town managers on a listserv kind of thing with other managers, and that's a question that he can ask.
Okay.
And this person's not exclusively to assist us, but also historic and...
Yeah, HDC and I don't know who else, but that's something to be talked
Right.
about. And when we look at job descriptions, we might find that they serve other purposes. But grants manager is a definite.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, the way it's written in the master plan is to support the Historic District Commission and Heritage
44?
Commission.
I just want to know what page it's
Yeah,
on.
page 46.
46.
Item 3 in the steward action. And available to move historic preservation actions forward. So that is definitely in support of grant writing and
Yeah, that, an awareness that's what I'm looking at for this person to help us out with. And I think a good example is our natural resources planner. Works with the Conservation Commission, and there's a lot of natural resources to manage. But she is very good at organizing events, advertising the events, getting getting volunteers to staff the events. And that's the kind of person I'm looking for. And a grants manager.
yeah.
Because I don't know that the HDC would necessarily have that much activity. We could. I mean, we could have a historic district party somewhere on one of those districts. But I think the Heritage Commission, with its mission to protect and teach, could use some help.
Mm-hmm. All right, so action items on this would be to prepare for a budget proposal for 2024. Yeah. And in the meantime, identify some models for job descriptions and draft our, get it drafted.
Yep.
And set, ready to go. Okay.
On the master plan committee as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so when it comes to needing something on their agenda, we'll make sure it gets on.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to talk about it.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, that would be good. What was the other one? Oh, and 6A. This is where we can get into the town hall business.
Okay.
Because that's the prioritize improvements of the town hall.
So 6A also on page 46.
Yeah.
Steward action.
That's all right.
In your pile of papers that I handed out is the application from the application to the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance to.
That's what you're looking for?
Yeah.
You got your own. Give them all away.
And the description, because one of the things we want to do is make the town hall more user-friendly and up-to-date to the 21st century, as much as keeping its character and whatever historical features or resources are considered necessary must-be-kept kind of items. I went through a tour of the building with a fellow from the Preservation Alliance, and which is the first step to getting an actual historic building survey. And if we want to go for any LCHIP funds, we need to have that survey done. If we want to get some federal grant money, we have to have that survey done. So if we apply through this, we can get $4,500, but we have to match it. And that, I think, can be spread around from different committees. We have some funds. The Arts Committee is, or Commission is pushing this because they really want to get in there and have some quality productions there. And they have some funding, so I think that we got a quote for $10,000 to do a physical, historic building survey. So we know the 4,500 if we can get it, and so I'm not being very articulate tonight, but they went on a tour through with the Preservation Alliance representative, and now we just have to fill out the application. And my question for you is, do we want to be the lead on this? And if so, can we vote to authorize me or the town planner to sign necessary documentations?
If we're not the lead, then who would be?
It could be the HDC, it could be the Arts Committee, it could be the Select Board, I think it's appropriate for us because that's what we're all about.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well, you have done LCHIP grants, I know.
Yes.
As have I, and they are horrible.
Well, this isn't LCHIP.
Okay.
This is the Preservation Alliance, which is its own 501c3. It's not state-funded. It's kind of self-funded. But it is, if we want to get an LCHIP grant to do something, we need to do this survey first. So this application is important to future planning. And it's not as hard as it looks.
And what's the deadline for the LCHIP?
LCHIP, off the top of my head, I don't remember, but, I know where you're getting the LCHIP thing. The money for these kind of surveys comes from LCHIP to the Preservation Alliance.
Okay, sorry.
Which is why they make that available that way so that more people can afford to go for it. And it actually would help us with any future LCHIP grants, make it a little easier.
For sure.
It's not a very difficult application.
Really?
Well, LCHIP ones are.
Well, for the Preservation Alliance, right? It's not.
Yeah, and they are very happy to work with us to get it.
Do they have a deadline?
Theirs is a rolling deadline.
Yeah,
Okay.
They, every month they
Yeah.
look through applications, so the next one up is December 13th, I believe.
Okay.
So that'll be before our next meeting.
Sure, it would be nice to have that person on the staff now.
Yeah, I know.
That's right.
Take care of this.
That's right.
The first assignment is,
Well, and the chair of the Arts Commission, Tony Calandrello, is happy to work on it with me, or if any of you want to be part of the process.
So,
Do we need a motion?
I was going to say, let's.
Yeah, if you would,
Entertain a motion to.
apply to the National Preservation
Sure.
Alliance. Here, I'll make the motion. I move to apply to the National Preservation Alliance Assessment Grant Program for a historic building survey, and to authorize the town planner and myself to sign any documentation necessary.
second.
Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Well, we awfully should, if we're going to do something for the town hall, then we're the heritage and we're the ones that should do it. But I'm wondering how much time we, like you, me, you, have. You just spent most of the year doing that neighborhood survey. You want to do another thing that big?
That's what the grant is, to pay somebody else to do that.
Yeah, it's to get the money to go ahead and get that done.
Okay, Before we jump off this bridge, I'd like everybody to look over the edge.
No, the $4,500 is to match, or is to go towards us hiring somebody to do the survey.
Okay,
We have to match the $4,500.
and how are we going to do that?
Well, as I said, we have this body has a fund, the Arts Commission has a fund, there's actually now a capital improvement fund capital fund for the town hall. So between the group, we can figure out the money. We'll have to, whatever we're going to spend, we have to vote on to, approve, and Maura can write a check or put it in the check order anyway. So I don't think it's going to, because we have several sources that are available to do the things that we want to do at the town hall and how we want to do them. I think we can spread it out and not burden any one group with the full cost.
Well,
And we do already have a quote that it would be $10,000, so this grant would pay for half of that.
And it does sound like this would be a jumping off point. This doesn't commit us to anything further, right? I mean, this would be the survey that we could choose to use as we decide once we get to that point.
And also, I've been talking about this at the select board and a couple other committees that I'm on, that we need to have a master plan, if you will, of the adaptations and preservations of the town hall. Because the facilities committee is interested on what we need to do there. We're going to have a fire department in there to do a fire safety check, and we already know we need a second means of egress somewhere, but we have to have the building survey done before we can decide what we're going to change. Arts committee, wants a full production facility. We need a bathroom somewhere on the first floor. There's lots of things we know we want, and different people know that we want them. Public Works or the Energy Committee will want to have a say. So once we get this done, we can organize a subset of all those groups. So it would be one of us, and it wouldn't meet like every month or so, like this one, just to start the process, go off and work on something, get back together.
Does the proposal, or does anywhere along the way, do we have any structural?
That's what the
Is this part
thing
of
is
it,
to look
part
at.
of the structural?
It's part of the survey, yeah.
Okay. All right. And this is for the old building across the street?
Yes.
And I'm just curious, but that's not already on the registry of historic buildings, and I wondered why not.
Because, the historic
I'm not
district.
blaming you, I'm
No, I
just
know.
saying, but the town's never thought we should do that, or?
I've been involved with the HDC for 15 years, and I never thought of doing it.
I just assumed it probably was.
Well, it's on the
National-
registered
yeah, something, right.
historic district,
Okay.
but not as an individual property. So it's been, we're able to reference it, but not call it,
Okay.
So just to appreciate Pam's question and clarify, this body, the Heritage Commission, will take the lead on this. You've already essentially done that. You've given some assurances as to a matching funding source. I mean, as a select board member, you're kind of aware of where pots of money might be found, and we do have some for this body as well, and that would match the $4,500 being offered here. So, is there any further discussion around that, just to clarify, because
just to be really clear, we have just over, I think, $5,000 in our fund.
good to know. Yeah,
I wouldn't want to spend it all.
yeah.
So I would be looking at the other bodies to have that discussion with them, or their chairs anyway, about the contribution.
And before anything else happens with the town hall, the survey needs to be completed.
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
So we really want to know, is the gallery that runs around on the inside, that was put up in 1911. So it's not original, but it is a resource now because everyone knows it. And so then you could beg the question, it's not original, do we need to keep it? Well, what will that give us if we take it away? You know, is that the highest, best use of the space to take that away? And just using that as an example, I'm not proposing it. You know, but there are rooms that you have to step up into and duck your head at the same time. And I actually, being an architect, I figured I'd know I'm going up these stairs, I'm going west, I'm going east, and I actually got disoriented when I was up above the stage in that area.
Well, you should have been carrying props up and down.
Yeah, I was going to
Because I was.
I did too.
Well, but
Our high school plays there, so
Yeah.
the dressing rooms and the props.
or lack thereof, yes.
Yeah.
So, but see, that's something that my view of it was that aside from the two major rooms at this front side, the rest of them were just added on as, hey, we need a room to do, store something, so let's build it here. And hey, we need a room to do that, and we need dressing rooms. And the stairway to no one should ever use.
Somewhere there's the original plan, so someone could figure out what was there originally.
Somebody told me that yes, there are, but I don't think they're in the town's possession.
The structural engineer would need to probably have that.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically all we're doing is asking for matching funds, and we already have in pocket matching funds. So that's an easy one. And then once we get the matching funds, assuming we do, we have to find a consultant.
Yes, actually, in the application, it recommends getting a consultant, and we already have one with a quote that the Arts Commission has established.
We do have one that is very good.
Yeah, and it's in their instructions. But we can, it was funny, the fellow that did the tour said, okay, fill out the application, just don't give us too much information. It's like, what is that? Trying to make my case here.
Selective. Good stuff.
So, yeah, so we have a quote, and we know about what it's going to cost. They've, already guaranteed it, so.
So we're all set.
And it's a motion on the floor.
Motion, we didn't vote?
We still need to vote.
Just didn't know if there was further discussion. Pam, do you have anything else to?
Well, step one looks pretty good. I can see step two and step three getting steeper and steeper, but
That's why we need this.
I move the question.
Yes, so we have, ready to take a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Reporting none? All right. That is passed.
Thank you.
So another item on the agenda, which is associated with some grant funding, was discussed in August with the, even earlier, perhaps July, was the Perkins Cemetery.
and I haven't really done anything on that. I'm sorry.
Nope. Okay.
Okay. I did pull out all my LCHIP stuff for the LCHIP grant for my church, and that's how I got thinking of what a horrible time that was. Took 4 of us 3 years.
Well, when did you put it in?
What?
When did you put that in? When did you get that grant?
Oh, we did. Oh, that was must have been 5 years ago.
They've lightened up a little on their application. So, you remember in it that you had to have 5 copies of one thing?
Yes,
paper
I
clipped to
know.
another? Well, it's much simpler now.
It was horrible, and we finally
4
just
copies.
gave up and said, we'd be better off working for the McDonald's at $5 an hour. We'd get the money faster.
And now they're up to $15 an hour, so thanks.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think you get free lunch.
All right, so that's tabled for now. All right, we've covered the recommendations for town hall. Bullet item, survey of demolished structures and replacement photos. I can tell you that I've worked on that inventory. It's about a little past half completed, perhaps 2/3 completed as a spreadsheet.
How many do you have on there?
It's a good question, and I wish I had my spreadsheet in front of me, but probably 40. I mean, it was quite a file that John Merkel had developed over time. So I'm working on compiling that.
And that's,
But perhaps this is also,
well, this is part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I handed out photographs, and I'm sorry, they're, well, first, they're poor quality and
What's
black
the,
and white video.
The purpose is just for our records, or do we want pictures to show this went down, but this came up and it looks better than it did? And
Well,
is that
yeah,
the argument?
To support our
Decision-making?
decision-making, yeah. What happens after something's demolished isn't in our purview whatsoever, but it's just a...
No, but if there was the before and after, it doesn't hurt unless it's really bad.
So what do you have
Something
here?
we're not
Just
proud
3
of.
properties that I happen to have on my phone. 12 Front Street, 10 Wadley, and 8 Gilman. The ones that's just all brick stuff is 8 Gilman Lane basement. I didn't take any outside shots of that. I'm not sure if anyone else did.
This house came down?
Just that rear portion.
Oh, okay. That was a garage.
Yeah, this, so the files that I have from John do include some photos. So what we have
Yeah.
JPEG versions, so we have the electronics, as well as the letters, map locations, addresses, and what was there. We don't have replacement pictures, and I know, Julie, that was something you were interested in, but maybe a phase 2 of this.
Well, I'm interested in
process.
it, but it's not, it's a good learning thing for, new members, I think, to see what we're considering when we look at a building for demolition. But it's also, it's nice to have a record. It was definitely something we'd want to share with the Historical Society because
Right.
they keep track of photos of buildings and their history, so. But it'd be nice to have it at our fingertips also.
Now, I did ask in the plan, Barbara, and she does have these files, but she doesn't have them under demolished buildings. You would have to look under,
The building,
yeah,
Individually and
Yes.
copy.
the
and
address, yeah.
Make a loose leaf about everything in it.
so if we could take John Merkel's list, maybe some clever computer person could make
Another job for the new person.
That's
It would be, absolutely.
But let me ask you this, is
That would be
it,
good for the town to
if you
have.
wanted to find out what was on a piece of property before you went to build on it, would you, as a resident, you would go to the
Well, we get
planning and
that
building
question a lot,
department?
and we usually go through old maps.
Yeah, can
Now,
I
you
finish?
can also go through the Registry of Deeds, but that is
Can I finish what I was saying, please?
oh, sorry. Okay.
My question is, as a resident wanting to know the recent history, let's say, of this piece of property that I've now bought, and
Yeah.
want to see what happened, not what happened in ancient times, but just to, what was the last building permit that was pulled. And if you wanted to see what had been demolished, when you find out that something used to be there, it's been demolished, and you want to see what that looked like, what was demolished, would you think to ask for, take off our hats and be a resident? Would you go to the planning and building department and ask for any information they have about that property, or would you ask for the file of demolition things?
Well, I think that would depend on the date, because everything from within the last 10 years, I think that would probably be more likely to be in their office.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean,
people-
I think for a resident, if you're going with that situation, they might be more likely to be a specific, property tax map search.
Yeah.
But I think if someone were just sort of interested in the town history and the demolition stuff as a whole, it would be nice to have it centralized.
Yeah, there's,
I bet the records are pretty scarce, so most lots probably wouldn't have that history.
No, I'm sure they don't.
no, they don't. The deeds all say land and buildings.
Right. There's probably
How many buildings or what year they were built, but maps help.
yeah.
So, so then the question is, do we want to be duplicative about it and have these photographic documents in with the demolition request and building files, and then have a drawer that's just demolition before and when we get to it after?
It would be an interesting project to have it all in one place, whether that's in loose leaf binders or
Yeah.
whether there's files for each one that is easy for anyone to access. But it's a lot of work to put that together, and that's,
Well, that's why I'm asking, is
Yeah.
it's easy to put these pictures in the file with the building permits.
yeah, for now.
And,
Yeah, don't get rid
but
of it.
we should keep our list, I think, of
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
properties
yeah.
that have gone through the
Is
process.
John's list, everyone, since he's been involved with the committee?
Yeah, John
Commission.
was one of the founders, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So it's pretty
thorough.
complete, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would, by organizing it as a spreadsheet and identifying what is in all of these folders, that would create an index. So
Yeah.
whatever we do in paper form or file form or
Yeah, if
electronically,
you had his index,
it would be
helpful.
an index.
And
Exactly.
he takes a lot of pictures when we go to those, to
Yeah.
decide whether we're going to tear something down. He's the one that takes pictures all the time.
Yeah.
God knows.
Well, and that's something, too, we might want to have a bullet list of something of actions to take when doing a demolition review, that pictures, be sure pictures are taken of.
The last couple of demolition reviews was don't get too close to the building.
Yeah.
It might fall on you.
That's right. That's right.
They were in tough shape.
All right, so an action item of this is just to keep moving it forward.
And honestly, I have photographs from a few years ago that are on a device that I can no longer access. So if we do this in a more immediate fashion, it would help us out a lot.
Yeah, we'll identify what we have and what we don't have, because some of these folders don't have photos, and so if John didn't take a photo and you did, then
Yeah,
we
when
would
I'm-
be able to compile that.
And I keep saying this, but the Historical Society does have photo files by street.
Yeah.
There you go.
We have a lot of fun with those.
Well, that's why I said we should share these with the Historical Society, just to
And,
keep up your
We
game.
also have the old maps, and they used to put out something called Sanborn maps, which I guess was for
Fire insurance.
fire department, and they would show each street with a little picture of the shape of each house.
Yeah,
Very nice.
the Ioka was identified on one of those as, it just said they put on businesses, what business is in that building,
That's right.
because they have a different fire insurance than the house, and one of them says pool.
Yes.
And when we were doing our mapping project, the consultant said, was there a pool in there, like a swimming pool in there? Well, one lane pool, and they found it.
There was one in the theater.
Yeah, there was one on the lower floor.
Strange.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
So.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Just a little trivia thing.
All right. Next bullet item, I think we've covered. CLG grant. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Or no, we didn't cover that.
we didn't.
Different grant.
No, different grant.
I'm
Yeah.
getting confused.
Yeah.
All right.
It's easy.
CLG grant. We have probably a deadline February.
The cycle hasn't been opened up yet.
Okay,
I think that they're doing January to January now.
okay.
They had a meeting a few years ago about how the program was working, and several towns that sent representatives were frustrated that the grant process came around such that we had to wait until March to see if we would get the funding to match whatever it was we were doing. And then we had like 6 months to get it done. So now they're doing more like LCHIP and giving you a year and a half or even 2 years to complete your project, which is much more easy to get consultants to commit to.
So do we have any action items on that?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
But, well, the only action item is to consider if we want to do more survey, which is free. What else have we done with that? That costs money. I don't know, we've gotten grants all the time. The last thing that we'd have to pay 60% of is any kind of building repair or restoration. There's a second one in there that's a 40-60 flip the other way. Oh, I can't remember. But no, I think when the announcement comes up that we have to send a letter of intent when that happens.
Okay.
So just be thinking about what you want to do. We certainly have other areas of town to survey. We have those maps to tell us which area we should do next. Or recommend, anyway.
Do we have, I recall we've had some discussion about potential areas to survey. Does anybody recall? And I was just looking at past notes and it didn't jump out at me what we had discussed.
Well, I need to look at our mapping survey because we've done between Franklin Street and Park Street area.
Oh, here we go, J.D. Hill.
That's a possibility just because it's a complete whole development at one time. And the period of time that it was done was a period of growth because it was at post-World War II.
Yeah.
And maybe that's all that needs to be said about it. But,
Yeah.
a little survey. The buildings are all made to be affordable, and they don't turn over very much, so they still are.
Okay.
But look at the maps that we have them online on our website and our webpage, and we can decide which area is next in the red, green, yellow zone.
Okay.
I'm guessing Court Street.
All right. Next item was our initiative to summarize our work with the neighborhood heritage area. Do we have any? I have the outline in front of me, rough outline from several months past. I can tell you I haven't done any work on it. Has anybody else done any work with it?
I haven't had a chance to do any updates on it.
Yeah. All right. I guess the action item here is to keep it as an agenda item and carve out some time to create some narrative around that outline and memorialize that work that we did.
Do we have the outline? Have we distributed the outline? I don't remember.
I did a photocopy at one point. I should just share it electronically.
Yeah, why don't you? I don't remember if I received it or not.
All right. I have here. I have my copy dated June 2022. So I will share this.
And all of the pieces that we've assembled of the different actions taken are all in the building department.
That is correct. Yeah, that's how I that's how I built the outline. So, and along with the timeline dating back to the survey, we took a walking tour, some door-to-door solicitations.
Is that outline not good enough?
Well, I feel that it needs some detail. So there's
Some narrative.
some narrative, yeah. I mean, some clarification that explains what took place, what we did, goals and objectives for each. Not say for each item, but for some of these bulleted items. Yeah.
Well, I finally found this summary of the Heritage Commission's work. Is that
There it is.
the one?
That's what I'm looking at. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to do anything more with this, or?
Well, that's what
Yeah.
we're discussing, is adding some detail, some narrative. So if there's a piece of that you feel you can add a paragraph to,
A sentence?
a sentence, in some cases perhaps. Yeah.
Okay,
But we had two Zoom meetings.
we did.
What we can include for those are the slides as what's the word I'm looking for? As a reference. We had even in-person meetings, so there was an ad hoc committee that did some work, did a survey from that. So,
Yeah, just send out that outline again.
Yeah, send it.
yeah, I'll do that. So the action item would be for me to send that out to you all. Make sure that you have it. Watering trough placement.
Yes,
I see some
some work being done.
work on the outside.
It is going out where we had recommended.
Is it going on the cement slab that had the bench on it?
No, that's staying. There's a new slab next to it.
But it's cement that we didn't get the granite from the school.
Oh, no. Further investigation and magnification of the photographs showed that what we have is what it was. As I had said before, it was anecdotal story that there was a base that ended up at somebody's residence, so.
No, but the granites from the building they tore down where they're working now, building the new faculty housing.
Right, we don't need it, so.
Oh, we don't need it?
Right.
So what's it going to sit on? We have the
On the
base?
granite, yeah. No, we don't have the base, it doesn't need a base.
There's a concrete slab.
The
It's just
concrete
going to
slab.
sit on the slab,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
I thought it had a base, and I was wrong.
And there's a granite hitching post.
Oh, a hitch post, yeah.
Which needs an iron ring. I think that was something to be determined. So that'd be pretty cool.
It's not like it's going to get used.
That's right.
Although,
Well,
you never know.
I was
Someone.
going to say, well, in the festival, when the courier comes riding in with the declaration,
Right.
he can go have a drink after.
Which I missed. That didn't happen this past year.
No.
I missed that.
No, it was moving around trying to figure out COVID. COVID taught us one thing. Do we want to go back to the full thing? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a discussion they're having. So.
All right. So that does it with our old business bulleted list. Is there anything from the Select Board, Planning Commission, and Historic District Committees that we should be aware of? We'll get to some new business on the demo review committee side of things, and unless that overlaps, because I'm seeing, John, you have a map of.
We've had trouble getting a time when three of us can be over there looking at what they want to tear down.
So, and this is in reference to the PEA, whether we're all dining.
Yeah, what they want to do is tear down the old dining hall, refurbish the buildings, the dormitories on either side, and the building that's there now, to me, this looks much nicer. This is the front. Okay, so I think the original building's like a one-story, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that the
And this
street
is,
side?
yes, and that has that building that matches nothing. With the arch, the three arches there,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure where they came from.
It was of its time.
The
Came from the
70s.
70s is where it came from.
So to me, and the planning board approved this, but I know and I don't think we really can stop it anyway, right?
No,
kind
we
of
can only
determine
advise,
that,
and we
but
can ask.
maybe we shouldn't be so worried about going over and look at it unless you really want to.
Well,
To me,
I
that
think Friday morning was.
at 9 was the last.
Friday at 9, no?
Yeah.
I can't do it, I'm sorry.
I don't get responses fast enough to do a 24-hour notice, so I have to
And on
keep
Friday
moving.
could be tough. I might be able to, but I'm waiting for hear on something else.
Okay.
So,
Well, here's the thing. Friday at 9, I can ask, can I have another day for the third time? And but Monday is our last day to be able to review it without missing our deadline.
anyone care to look at this? Up close?
I could see it from my vantage point, but I'll pass this down. Yeah, I mean, Friday and Monday are just difficult times for me. I mean, in a way, we're reviewing the paper version.
And the thing about the academy,
Architectural design.
they always do it right,
I know. This is a formality that we
Yeah.
have to
You're right,
do
right.
and document, so.
Yeah.
There's a floor plan, I think, on the page before that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that if we can't get ourselves a committee to go over there, this is not one that I'm super worried about us seeing and documenting beforehand.
No.
So why don't we just tell them that they can go ahead and do it?
Yeah. That's right.
Okay, I think we need to vote that we need not have a formal demolition review.
Yeah, we could, yeah.
I don't know
There's
what
a
the-
proposal, I mean, I included the language is, we've done some due diligence on 3 occasions, attempted to meet.
Yes.
That part of it's the floor plan.
Well, we
That's
have
the
nothing
back.
to say to what they do on the inside anyway.
No, but I'm just showing what
Yeah, it's interesting to see, though.
yeah.
Well, I mean, Julie, do you feel like you'd like to go ahead and try for Friday morning and just see who can make it with you, or if it's just?
Well, I know Bill and John can't, and you're not free, and Pam's not free,
No.
so it's definitely
We'll
not
give you-
Friday.
You can take our proxies.
I'll go and just, look. But,
Yeah, I mean,
without,
I'd like to ask a question or two, but it's nothing that's going to change. I'm just because I'm curious, but,
Yeah.
more like how they got to what they built before,
yeah, it was the 70s. Well, it's just, it's part of the process that's required, so we really do need to formalize our decision to.
Wow, I just
Not go
noticed
forward.
that the architect is from New York City, and he's fairly famous for skyscrapers in New York City, the firm, Robert A.M. Stern.
Oh.
They're
Wow, they're
probably
not
one of the top
fancy.
10 architects in the country anyway.
No kidding.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
notice that before.
Well,
impressive.
so then I move that we waive our request or our requirement for a demolition review, given that we're not able to get a committee together on the timeline needed.
for,
For 10 Weatherall, or the
They're all,
Weatherall
yeah, the
request.
placement
from-
renovation project for the,
get all that, Liz? Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
his address is 1 Park Avenue, not 2.
One Park Avenue. Gosh.
I will get in touch with the contractor and let them know.
I think that makes sense. Speaking of demolition review committees, there was a advisement of 19 Bow Street. There was a barn on that property.
Yes.
John,
I
were you
saw
part of that committee?
Did, yes. That was one. John went very close with his camera. I said, you may not want to get that close, but he was up close to
Yeah.
edges, you
Yeah.
know. And,
That was the one that really was a health hazard?
It wasn't in good shape. I wasn't going inside. That's the second
Yeah.
old building I
Yeah.
refused to go.
From the road, I drove by, I did not
Yeah.
go in, and it looked bad. I talked with the property owner, and under her advisement, strong advisement, that we were not to enter.
And my namesake,
Yeah.
Bill was there too. You know,
Yeah.
So you sent the three old guys to,
Yeah, yeah,
if you lost one of us, it wouldn't have been a big deal.
yeah.
Not true.
So, but.
It would have been a big deal.
Definitely something, yeah. Now, you know, why does someone let it get in that state? You could have that argument, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yes, there's
we
a
can't
phrase
put-
that it's called, but I don't like to use it to give anybody any ideas.
Benign neglect.
Anything from Historic District, Pam?
Well, we're not really doing a whole lot.
We've had, since we made the zoning ordinance change to describe projects of minimal impact,
Say what, I didn't hear what you said.
We passed a zoning ordinance, so the HDC approved a few years ago about projects of minimum impact that the code enforcement officer and town planner, I think is a body of two anyway, would review those. And those are things are like signs downtown. Because if we had to wait a month to get a sign approved, the business needed it right away. And, we had to wait 2 weeks or more. So we decided to make that kind of thing decision when an application comes through. The building department makes a decision about whether or not it needs to come to the full HDC. That really doesn't it doesn't connect here, but that's what happens. So that's why we haven't had a whole lot of business.
Anything from the Select Board, Julie?
No, just the grant thing that I've been talking about.
Great. Looking back at some old minutes, I was reminded about, this was several months ago, the Exeter Black Heritage Pocket Park. Is anything
I don't have any
floated your way, Mara?
updates. No, I think last I heard they were still waiting on some final determinations around Swayze Parkway.
Yes.
So
Oh, that's one I could add on to that. There is still some legal work being processed before you can make the final decision and put in that little roundabout turnaround or not, and or just fully open or fully closed. We expect that in a couple weeks.
That was a consultant doing that work?
Our attorneys.
Okay. All right.
And the Charitable Trust Division at the state and our council. Somebody else was involved.
Is there anything else that anybody has? I'll just finish with, we received a letter from a concerned Exeter citizen about our missed meeting last month, which again, that was on me for not getting the agenda out. That letter you all have seen, it was addressed to me. It did involve the Heritage Commission as a body, too. So I didn't respond, and I asked for, until I got some advisement from the Select Board, and so I'll draft a letter of response, which I'll share with you all for your thoughts and input before I reach out.
sounds good.
I would let it just sink out of sight. This is
Well, I think a response is appropriate, just to indicate receipt and that
Thank
the
you
body has been provided with the letter as requested.
Okay.
So I think that makes sense.
Thank you for your opinion, or thank you for sharing your opinion.
Thank you for letting us know.
Okay.
All right, thank you all.
Motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, meeting is adjourned.
That's not debatable.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.